The board and chief executive officer of the National Health Insurance Fund (NHIF) have been sued for the contempt of court charges of alleged failure to honor consent of court orders jointly registered between the health insurer and Jomek Limited in February this year at the Milimani High Court Commercial and Tax Division. In a suit filed under certificate of urgency by Wachira and Mumbi advocates in favor of Jomek Limited, NHIF board is listed as the first respondent, while the CEO Elijah Wachira has been listed as the second respondent respectively. Jomek wanted Elijah committed to a civil jail for contempt of court. On Tuesday this week, High Court Judge Justice Josephine Wambua Mongari certified the matter as urgent and issued an order directing that the respondents be served and responses be filed within 7 days. The order by Justice Mongari dated April 16, 2024 reads in part, quote-unquote, "It is hereby ordered that 1. The notice of motion application dated April 16, 2024 be served upon the respondents and be responded to within 7 days. 2. That the said application be mentioned for directions on April 22, 2024. End of quote. Jomek Limited had sued NHIF for failure to settle outstanding payments amounting to 188.3 million shillings, plus accruing damages and damages legal fees totaling to over 350 million shillings. Consequently, Jomek obtained orders to freeze NHIF bank accounts and successfully managed to impose transaction hold to 4 NHIF accounts domiciled at the National Bank of Kenya, Cooperative Bank of Kenya Limited, Equity Bank and Kenya Commercial Bank respectively. However, through a consent of court dated January 2, 2024 and filed on February 5, 2024, Jomek and NHIF entered into an agreement to settle the matter on condition of settlement of an all-inclusive sum of 188,277,911 shillings in full and final settlement in one installment. Further, the consent orders provided that both NHIF and Jomek shall execute new service delivery agreements for the provision of medical health services as gazetted at Jomek's health facility within the legal framework and regulations governing NHIF. However, through a letter dated April 2024, NHIF CEO Elijah Wachira wrote to Jomek's lawyer via correspondence reference number HF/HQ/LEG/5/138, Volume 7, saying the fund is unable to execute the new service delivery agreement cited in the consent registered at the High Court, citing the transition clauses of NHIF to the Social Health Authority (SHA). The letter addressed to Wachira and Mumbi advocates read in part, quote-unquote, "As part of these guidelines, the contracting authority of the NHIF board has been aligned to its mandate to wind up the fund under the first schedule of the Social Health Insurance Act. Therefore, the fund is unable to enter into new contract for provision of healthcare services. However, your client Messrs. Jomek will be engaged during the next contracting cycle." End of quote. In his latest application filed in court on behalf of Jomek, Wachira and Mumbi advocates avers that NHIF has only complied order number 1 of the said consent order and want the NHIF board and CEO committed to civil jail for contempt of court. An affidavit filed in court by Wachira and Mumbi advocate read in part, quote-unquote, "The respondent has only complied with order number 1 of 2 of the said consent order and has hitherto failed and or refused to comply with the consent order 1 number 3 of the subject consent order that requires both the applicant and the respondent through the facilitation of the contemner to execute new service delivery agreements for the provision of medical health services as gazetted at the applicant's health facility within the legal framework and regulations." End of quote. However, when contacted by the Informer Media Group for comment, neither the NHIF board chairman Engineer Michael Kamau nor CEO Elijah Wachira responded to our query by the time of going to broadcast. Also, a panel notice on the consent order registered at the High Court provides that any party affected by the order that disobeys the court orders shall be cited for contempt of court. The penal notice on the consent orders reads in part, quote-unquote, "Take notice that if any party and or any person affected by this order, either by yourselves, agents, servants, and or employees, or any other person acting by your authority, disobey the court orders herein, you shall be cited for contempt of court and or disobedience of a court order, and shall be liable to committal to jail for a term not exceeding 6 months." End of quote.